DSP is a demand-side platform. In the world of buying and selling media, you have two sides. You have a demand side and a supply side. A supply side is all the publishers, all the websites, all of the app developers out there that want to monetize what they've produced, what they've developed. And then on the other side, you've got the advertisers and the media agencies that want to buy that media, want to buy those eyeballs, those impressions, and those people looking at the banners and clicking on them. And those usually utilize a trading desk or a demand-side platform that plugs into all sorts of different sources of inventory, hand picks out of each one the impression that is relevant for a campaign that's being run, and places a banner over there. It's a tool for media agencies and for advertisers to programmatically buy media from various sources like websites, mobile sites, apps that have an ad space inside those, and to do it all through one central place. A DSP is very much like a stock exchange, with all the different stock trades that are going on and all the different people that are selling and buying. That's the same as a DSP with different exchanges that are trying to get their traffic to be sold to a media agency. And we're the mediator in the middle, like a stock exchange, that facilitates those buys. The benefits of a DSP are numerous. On one hand, you have multiple sources of supply plugged in, as opposed to buying from one exchange or one ad network. So you can, within each supply source, we for example have 10 plugged in now. Out of each one of those, you can hand pick the sites and the publishers that are working best. On the other hand, you also get much better reporting. Because of the stronger technology under the hood, you are able to spend a lot more time and provide a lot more analysis on the data that's coming in. You're able to produce much more detailed reports. For example, we can break down things in at least 30 different ways by time of day, by site, by device, by operator, etc., etc. And that insight to an advertiser or to a media buyer to understand how their media is performing and where it's performing best is priceless. One of the main differences between a mobile and an online DSP is that a mobile DSP like ours was designed to be one from the start, and specifics of tracking downloads and optimizing to phone call duration, working across all sorts of different devices with HTML5 emerging media instead of Flash and so on, was built in from the beginning. We've got offices in 4 countries now, in our own offices in London, in Kiev and in New York, and we've got a representation office in Tokyo in Japan. We're expanding rapidly, and our goal is to have representation in all of the main countries around the world. Not a lot of DSPs do this. Unlike some other DSPs on the market, we always provide the customer with a login. Even if they're not setting up the campaign by themselves, all of the reporting can be done by them, and in real time, on demand, whenever they want, in the middle of the night, they can log on, go in, and see what's going on with their campaign. One of the other main advantages that our DSP has over a few out there on the market is the number and the diversity of the supply that we have plugged in. Some of the DSPs out there only have a few exchanges plugged in. Some of the exchanges are very big indeed. However, in mobile, because it's an emerging market, it's very fragmented. There are lots of smaller pockets of inventory, smaller suppliers that are still very worthwhile integrating with because they provide reach to certain areas that you can't get anywhere else. There are many different things that you can do in mobile advertising that you can't do on the desktop. For a start, you're working on a mobile device that is always with the user. It's more personal, and you actually interact with a lot of these devices by hand and by touch. So you're able to run interactive ads where a user is actually able to touch the ad, to maybe move something around on the screen, to rub out maybe a part of the ad, and make the ad experience a lot more interesting. Here you can actually hit a banner and make a phone call on the spot, making it a lot easier for the user to connect with the advertiser. You're able to launch an ad straight from the banner either into the Android market or into the iPhone App Store and allow the user to download the app there and then. Amongst other things, you can also drive users to send a text message or have them go to a website, fill out a form, which would then send a text message to them and subscribe them to the service. RTB stands for real-time bidding, and it's a different way of buying media as opposed to a bulk buy. A bulk buy would entail you going to either an exchange or a supply-side platform or a network saying, I want to buy £100,000 worth of media, and here are some banners, and please go away and buy that for me. And those impressions will then be distributed between different sites without too much checking between each impression whether it should be going there or not. With RTB, on the other hand, there isn't an impression that comes in and just gets served. It's an impression potential request. When you're looking at a website and you see a banner, a few hundred milliseconds before you saw that banner, that page would have sent a request to a DSP like StrikeAd's DSP. We would have looked at various criteria like where is that user coming from, which country, which region, what device are they coming from, is it an iPhone or is it an Android device? And we would have then made a decision all within those few hundred milliseconds whether we should buy that impression or not. The benefits of RTB are numerous, but the main ones, I guess, is that you are deciding on an impression by impression basis whether you want that impression or not. In a bulk buy, you might be continuously buying traffic from a site or from a user that is completely pointless, because that user is either never going to click on the banner, or if they do click on it, they will never perform the action that you want, like make a purchase on the site or fill out a form. With RTB, you will very quickly be able to understand that a certain site will not give you the performance that you need, and the tool will automatically stop buying from it. An SDK is a software development kit, but for the purposes of our conversation, it's just a piece of code that goes into another app and allows information to be passed back to a server so that you know when an impression and a click resulted in an event, such as a download of an app. Without an SDK, unfortunately, it's very difficult to connect an impression and a click to a download that has happened later. This means that a lot of advertising dollars are wasted, and traffic that will not result in downloads is still bought. With an SDK, you can very quickly pinpoint the type of traffic that will deliver more downloads and buy more of it. There's a number of different ways that we work out where the user is. One is through the latitude and the longitude from the GPS of the device, if the user has allowed this information to be sent. Or if it's not, then we take it from the IP address and a database of geographical IP addresses that we store. Tracking is a process of attributing an event such as a click and an impression to something that happens later, like a download, an app download, or a filling out of a form. And it's basically saying that this impression over here on an iPhone on this site drove a download over there maybe a couple of days later, or the same with filling out a form. The main point about tracking is that it's not some sinister government process. It is a way for advertisers to advertise more effectively, and also for consumers to receive ads that are more appropriate for them. API actually stands for Application Programming Interface, but in reporting it is just a way of providing data to another system via common means. So it might be a file that is exported out, or it might be something that's known as web services, where two servers talk to each other. It's just a way to make two systems communicate and talk a common language. Since we launched, StrikeAd has processed over 48 billion impressions, and that number is climbing every day. Fusion is the core StrikeAd platform. It's a demand-side platform, and it's a tool for media agencies, for media buyers, to programmatically secure media in the mobile space from all the different exchanges and networks that we are plugged into, and to optimize within that bought media to ensure that what's bought is actually performing the best. Fusion has really sophisticated reporting. It's pretty much, you name it, we have it. We're able to provide information about impressions, clicks, the cost of the impression, the cost of the clicks as the system is buying them, as it's optimizing them. We can break this down by all sorts of different criteria, such as the site that the impression was served on, the country where it appeared, the region of the country, the operator, such as Vodafone or T-Mobile that it was served on, whether it was a Wi-Fi or a GPRS mobile connection, the time of day that it took, etc., etc. We can split the reports by all sorts of these criteria and give really useful insights to the media agency and to the advertiser. Reporting in StrikeAd is real-time. It's accessible by the media agency on demand at any time of the day via personal login. It's completely secure, and also for those agencies that require it to be imported into their own system, we facilitate an API that can be integrated with pretty much any vendor.